Welcome to the National Button Society's Capturing the Magic of Buttons series of button craft workshops. My name is Sylvia Liszka Durell. I am a member of the National Button Society and serve on the Creating with Buttons program committee. This workshop features buttoned bottles. This tutorial is provided by the National Button Society in response to its members' interest in using their non-collectible buttons in artistic ways. This series of no-harm button crafts and the other button craft ideas on the National Button Society website support its mission to preserve all that is beautiful and historic in buttons. You can see more about what membership offers you online at nationalbuttonsociety.org. The items you will need for this project are bottles. I used a couple of 10-inch glass ones I had on hand, but any kind of bottle could be decorated. You also need a little spray paint, buttons of course, glue or hot glue gun and glue sticks, and ribbons. Here's the before and after of the first bottle. I used painter's tape to create a spray zone in the shape of a long rectangle on both sides of the bottle. Next, I pressed newspaper under the tape edges to protect my area from overspray. I gave it a couple of coats, let it dry, and then gently peeled the tape off, turned it over, and sprayed the back side. The stripes are on both sides. I was eager to see how the stripes would look in front of the buttons, so I poured them in. The fun part for me is to pick the buttons I want to use. I needed enough for both sides and was happy to find 2 red hearts to use. They make a simple statement about my love for buttons. On this bottle, I used a hot glue gun to stick the buttons on the blue painted rectangle. Once I had the buttons securely glued to both sides of the bottles, I found a ribbon to use to decorate the bottle's neck. After I tied it around and trimmed the length to where I wanted it, I hot glued white buttons about 3/4 inches apart down the ribbon. I also added buttons to the folds of the bow. The second bottle I decorated has a variety of colorful buttons glued to the front and sides, so it took a little longer to pick buttons that would look good to use. I laid out my button choices on the bottle, figuring I could just pick them up, add glue, and put them back in place. This time I used glue from a bottle. It's a little hard to not burn your fingers with the glue from a glue gun when the buttons need to be placed carefully and close together. I decorated all 4 sides of my bottle. Once again, I found a ribbon to tie around the neck of the bottle and glued buttons on it after I tied the bow. I chose to use all white buttons to fill this jar so the design of colored ones would stand out better on the fronts and sides. I first poured the buttons onto a paper plate. The paper plate is lightweight and flexible enough to make kind of a funnel to quickly pour the buttons into the bottle. And the second bottle is done. Here are both of the bottles together. We hope you enjoyed the National Button Society's Button Bottles tutorial. For more button craft ideas, button education, and information on state button societies and local clubs, visit nationalbuttonsociety.org. Also look for us on Facebook. You can also share your creations or ideas with us via email at creative@nationalbuttonsociety.org. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Bye now.